One would assume that we just create pretty art in the art room, but I want us to learn cross-curricular activities where they're learning about the science, the biology, they're learning about ecology and conservation while they're doing arts. My name is Stephen Kade. I work at O.L. Smith Middle School in Dearborn, Michigan. I went to a professional development opportunity for the arts in Oakland County Schools. There was a seminar called Teaching Abroad, and they mainly talked about teaching English in various continents, things like that. And they gave some handouts, and at the very bottom of this handout was NOAA Teacher at Sea. And I've always loved sharks, and I've known about NOAA for a long time, and I was like, is this true? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you today about an opportunity for any teacher in America to go to the Teacher at Sea program. The Teacher at Sea program is put on by NOAA, which stands for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. This program was created for teachers to go to sea with these researchers who live on these boats for a fair amount of the year, and they track animals and things like that, and they want teachers at sea with them to research right alongside of them and bring all that information back to you. What we are going to be doing is we are creating an endangered animal poster. We want this poster to be as dynamic as possible because what we are trying to do is bring awareness to a threatened or endangered animal. When we're done with this project, I will take photos of all of your work and submit this along with my lessons to let them know that not only are we serious about it, but we are taking our time and we want to make a difference too.
The project I did was about a sea animal called the axolotl. The axolotl is a critically endangered animal found in ponds or lakes in Mexico. The axolotl only has about 1,000 left living.
The animal that I did was the green turtle. What threatens it is the harvest of their eggs and the harvest of the adults. I never knew that these green turtles were threatened.
I drew the greater bilby, and it's native to Australia. Mr. Kade gave us any animal to do. He didn't really limit it, and now he gets to go out to sea and see other animals and help them out too.
It's a male. Male?
They only choose 23 teachers a year from across the whole contiguous United States. I had to write a long essay about why I wanted to do it, how an art teacher could make a difference for the science world. And I explained that exact thing, that we can be advocates because we're a visual society, and we created some projects before I went, and I put that along with my application. And I feel that that's one of the reasons I was chosen, because I'm only the second person to ever be chosen as an art teacher. The best part of the experience is just getting out there as a teacher and seeing how these things are done firsthand. Because I could have all the textbooks in the world to tell me about this, but it's not as impactful as actually going out there and seeing it firsthand. So it made my life a lot easier when I can come back and talk to my students about it, that I have firsthand knowledge, photos, I have the advice and the knowledge of all the people I was out there with telling me that much of the things we see on Shark Week, it's not really true. So I could dispel so many myths and untruths just in the 2 weeks that I was out there that now makes me a better educator when I'm going out into the world and teaching other people about it.
I enjoyed doing the research because I actually learned about the animal and how other animals can be endangered.
I learned a lot about a lot of different animals are endangered, but even simple things you can do, like cleaning up a beach, can really help out animals.
The reason why saving endangered species is important is because once they're extinct, you can never get them back.
I learned that there's a lot of animals that we have to help, but I think we're getting there.
I always like to tell my students that the world is a very large place, and we live in a very small part of it. So when I'm teaching them about sharks and things like that, it could apply to almost any animal, What I'm teaching them about the ocean could also apply to the Great Lakes or even the lakes that are around us. So the same things that are happening in our oceans are actually happening in our local communities as well. So if I can bring this awareness up to talk about the ocean, I can also bring that closer to home to let them know of the problems at home. And NOAA is really good about helping me do that. They provide me textbooks, they provide me grants where I can take kids to the Huron River. We can clean up certain areas.
Habitat conservation is important because we need to keep these animals living, keep the ecosystem going.
In our homerooms, we just learned about which style learner are you. Are you a visual learner, auditory learner, or kinesthetic learner? And many of our children that we averaged out are much more visual orientated or kinesthetic. So when I get them making things, making sculptures of animals, they're learning. They're looking at where are the fins and where is this. So they're learning by doing and not just reading and writing, which some kids, you do 6 different classes a day. Most of them are reading and writing. If I can teach them by doing or painting, then it's a win for everybody. When we can create art that incorporates data into it, it makes it more visually interesting to look at. We're not just studying reports, because that can be dry for children, especially in middle school. So when we can add art into that, it automatically becomes just an automatic thing that people look at. They're always looking for a visual image. And if I can pull them in with the image and then pull the kids into reading some of that stuff on there, then it enriches their experience of just creating art, and it gives a purpose to it.
He's really fun when it comes to doing projects. He doesn't like to limit what we do. He usually just gives us something, tells us to be creative with it. So yeah, he's a pretty cool guy.
I'm trying to create the next generation of marine biologists that will help and turn the tide for these animals so their children can see these animals when they go vacation to the oceans of the world.